Everyone knows Perseus killed Medusa, but what if I told you that she was the victim before she was the monster, and the only person who actually deserved to be hunted was a god? Medusa was a priestess of Athena. Then Poseidon decided he wanted her, so he walked into the temple and took what he wanted. Athena found out about it, and instead of going after the god who violated her own sacred space, she looked at Medusa and decided that she was the problem. Then Perseus shows up. He's not there to punish Poseidon. He is there to bring Medusa's head back. As a side quest, he finds her hiding, sleeping, defenseless, cuts her head off, uses it as a weapon for the rest of his life. And somehow, he's the hero. Hi friends, I'm Betty Rage, your favorite nerdy goth mom, and this hot mess here is Lashes and Lore, where I am crocheting a blanket from yarn that I unraveled from a thrifted sweater, and each week we create a new square for our Franken blanket, our Blankenstein, square by square. Today we're talking about a woman who got blamed for what was done to her, which, sound familiar? Also, trigger warning. This episode discusses sexual assault, victim blaming, and trauma. If that is not something that you are in a place to hear right now, I totally understand. Go take care of yourself. Mom loves, mom hugs. See you later. And for anybody who needs it, let's start off with this. Faye would like to also say that she loves you. You love them? Can I get a whoop? Can I get a whoop? All right. If you're interested in what I'm doing with thrifted yarns and upcycled adventures, I do have a company that is launching later this month called Reanimate Threads. So, ta-da! Right, so, Medusa. So let's start with who Medusa actually was before any of this happened. So Medusa was in Athena's temple. Now, there are older versions of this story where Medusa was born a monster from the start, one of 3 Gorgon sisters created that way, but the most famous version, the one that's shaped how we understand her, comes from a Roman poet named Ovid. I believe it's Ovid. Everything else I looked up said Ovid, not Ovid, and if I am incorrect, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. Anyway, it was from his book Metamorphosis around the year 8 AD. In Ovid's telling, Medusa wasn't always a monster. She was transformed into a monster. And the transformation is kind of what really matters to us in our story here, because that is what lets us understand her as a person first and a victim second. And here's something worth knowing before we even get into what happens to her. Medusa's myth emerged during a period of massive cultural shift, largely matrilineal, thanks, speech impediment, largely matrilineal societies, communities where the earth, nature, and goddesses held real power were being replaced by patriarchal structures that valued order over intuition, hierarchy over community, and control over wildness. During that shift, feminine power, intuition, wildness, emotion, all of it got pushed underground. Earth goddesses got demoted, mystery got replaced by linearity, and the stories that got told during that transition, well, they reflected exactly that. And so Medusa is one of those stories. In Ovid's telling, scholars debate whether Medusa was actually a priestess serving the goddess or a suppliant.
Hello, wife.
Hello, husband. If the word is suppliant, suppliant, would you say suppliant?
First is suppliant.
Yeah, it is suppliant.
Suppliant.
Suppliant, because I thought that's how I heard it. So, okay.
Suppliant.
Suppliant. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of recording. You're literally in my video right now.
Yeah, I just made sure I typed in USA as well, and it's still saying suppliant.
Suppliant. Okay. Okay, love you, bye. In Ovid's telling, scholars debate whether Medusa was actually a priestess serving the goddess or a suppliant who fled there for refuge. I have to put my hair up. Okay, I had to put my hair up. It's really hot in here. We're gonna have an energy drink. If you want to buy me an energy drink, you can use this QR code right here to do so. And thank you to everyone who's been buying me energy drinks. I think that I might add a form. Would you guys like that? If you buy me an energy drink, would you like to leave a note and then let me thank you on my next video or a video that comes out after that? Let me know in the comments. Okay, anyways. Okay, I'm having a rough time. Okay, she wasn't just a girl. She had purpose. She was chosen, or at least she sought out a place of safety. She was beautiful, yes, but that wasn't her whole identity. For no one, their looks are not their identity. She had a life that made sense, a place in the world, people around her, and she had sisters. Her sisters were born as monsters, born as immortal Gorgons, and I know I said that weird. Gorgons. They were Gorgons from the beginning in this version as well. Medusa was the one that was different. She was mortal, she was human, and unlike her sisters, she had, more to lose because she was mortal. And that's pretty important because everything that comes next lands only if you understand what she was before it was all taken from her. She came into this world human, mortal, with everything that comes with that. She was a woman with a life, a family, and a place in the world. Instead of protecting her, Athena made a choice that would haunt this myth for thousands of years. So Poseidon saw Medusa and decided that she was his to take. And when she ran, she fled to the one place that she thought was supposed to protect her, the temple of Athena. He followed her in anyway. He violated her in that sacred space. And inside the goddess's own temple, in front of everything she had devoted herself to. This is where it gets even darker, as if you can get any darker than that. Athena found out what happened, and you'd think that the goddess would take on a god who violated her priestess and desecrated her temple, that there would actually be consequences for what he did. But that is not what happened. We wouldn't be here today discussing all of this if it was. And that really matters beyond just the injustice of it. Athena is not a random person in this story. She actually represents something very specific. She was born fully formed from Zeus's head, literally shaped by masculine power from the moment of her creation. She is logic, order, strategy, femininity that was molded to fit patriarchal ideal. She has no wildness in her, no instinct, no chaos. And Medusa is everything that Athena is not. She's raw and human and vulnerable in ways that Athena was specifically designed not to be. Her consorting with Poseidon, the god of the sea, turbulent and uncontrollable and wild, is too much for Athena to even tolerate. And it's not just the act, it's what Medusa represents to her. The untamed feminine that civilization has tried to suppress for centuries. So, Athena punishes her, not Poseidon. Medusa. Athena was enraged, not at the god who violated her temple, at the woman who survived it. She blamed her for desecration, not the god who entered it and committed the violence, the woman who was attacked inside of it. And so Athena cursed her, took away her beauty, transformed into a monster, living with the consequences of what a god did to her, living with the reminder of her violation written across her body. Medusa didn't choose this. She didn't deserve this. She did nothing wrong. Not the snakes or the petrifying gaze. It's that the victim was the only one who paid a price. So we haven't even gotten to Perseus yet. So as we've come to find, that price continues to be paid again. So now Medusa is alone, cursed, and exiled, living in caves, hiding from the world because her own gaze became a weapon that she can't even control. And that's when a new player enters the story, a hero named Perseus. He is not there to avenge her. He's not there to punish Poseidon. He has been sent on a side quest by a king named Polydectes. I don't know if I said that right. So this king wants to marry Perseus's mother. The old get rid of the kid and marry the woman. So he sent him on some crazy quest that he assumed would get the kid killed. Bring back the head of, any monster. Any monster will do. I don't know. So Perseus, well, he goes to find her. She is sleeping. He cuts her head off while she is unconscious, using his shield as kind of a mirror so that he doesn't turn to stone by looking at her. And, there is no fight, no struggle, just a beheading. And what happens next is a little wild, because when Perseus beheads her, when her head is severed from her body, two fully formed creatures spring from her neck. Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a giant. Both of them Poseidon's children. Both of them born from her violation at the moment of her death. Yeah, that's right. The creature on your favorite Lisa Frank folder in middle school comes from this story. Well, in this version anyway. A goddess's rage, a god's assault, and a woman's body giving birth to life at the exact moment that she is being killed. And as if that's really not enough, he doesn't actually bury her. He doesn't leave her. No, he takes her severed head and uses it as a weapon, carries it around and pointing at enemies, and turns them to stone. Polydectes and his men, innocents who just happened to be in the way. He uses Medusa's head to kill more people than Medusa probably ever killed in her entire life. But somehow the story that we tell is his victory, not her tragedy. But that's the part we have to talk about. Because here's the thing. Medusa didn't stay a monster in the cultural imagination. She became something else entirely. In 1975, French feminist theorist Hélène Cixous wrote an essay called The Laugh of Medusa. You should read it. But basically what she says is she looked at this myth and said, you only have to look at Medusa straight on to see her. And she's not deadly, she's beautiful and laughing. Cixous was saying that women need to embrace their power and refuse to be silenced. And she used Medusa as the symbol for that. And Medusa's symbolism stretches far. Fashion house Versace picked up Medusa in 1993. Gianni Versace chose the Medusa head as his logo. And when his sister, Donatella, was asked why he picked her, she said, when I asked Gianni why he chose Medusa's head, he told me that he thought that whoever falls in love with Medusa cannot flee from her. And he wanted his clothes to have the same power to captivate people so that they couldn't look away. So a luxury brand decided Medusa represents aspiration, not horror, beauty, and power instead of monstrosity. But the real reclamation happened in 2008 when Argentine-Italian artist Luciano Garbati created a sculpture called Medusa with the head of Perseus. And it is exactly what the title said. Just look at it. You should probably look it up on your own because I'm going to have to censor it, I believe, in order for my video to stay on the internet. But yeah, also look it up, but this is a censored version of it. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show that, so. She's not the victim being displayed as a trophy. She is the one who won. Honestly, though, I think it could have been Poseidon's head. I think we could have gone back that far, and it would have been better instead. But either way, it's haunting and beautiful. When Garbati posted it online, it went everywhere. People were using it as like their profile picture. And by 2020, it was actually installed in Manhattan across from the courthouse. It had become a perfect symbol for the Me Too movement. Women finally had an image that showed what justice actually looked like. And there's actually another detail from the original myth that nobody's really talking about So after everything, after cursing her, Athena eventually took Medusa's image and placed it on her own shield. The goddess who punished her ended up carrying her face into battle for protection. So, I don't know. Make of that as you will. And of course, we're going to talk about tabletop and Medusa and Gorgons in D&D because that's what I do. I know some of you just showed up because you saw the word Medusa and you're like, why the heck is she talking about D&D now? Well, I play D&D, so you get to hear about it. And I like to relate these stories to the game because a lot of times there are characters in the game, be that because it's fantasy, that are a part of it. And that's just kind of one more layer to understanding how these myths live in our cultures. As if this episode hasn't been chaotic enough with all of my weirdness, my D&D portion of this video got messed up somehow, and that just will not do because I wanted to go over my favorite book that D&D has put out in my life ever. This is the one. This one. Asteria is incredible. Did you know that she is the first canon autistic person in the D&D multiverse? Right there, Asteria. And did you know that her sister is none other than Uriel? Uriel? Yes. The Medusa, the Gorgon? Yes. So this is where this kind of story actually turns to a more positive. Previously, before this character and the way they've written it here, Medusas were like, and this is how I've understood, okay? I don't know everything about D&D Medusas, but how I've understood was that they would be people who were asking for like all of the riches and the beauty and the power, and then like demon lords or something would then turn them into Medusas. And so, because they asked for too much. I could be wrong, but that's kind of, I think, like a Cliff's Notes-esque. So it kind of just perpetuates the idea of evil monster. But Uriel is actually a friend to an adventuring party, and she is the sister of Asteria, who is this main character of this particular section or book. She gets her power from Aestus, the goddess of fate. And so there's this is called the Book of Many Things, but there's the deck of many things. And the whole book goes through each card of the deck and gives all the different things that it can do and the reasons. The Deck of Many Things has historically been incredibly chaotic. This actually brings it back to like a functional part of the game. And so I just couldn't have this section not be a part of this video because Uriel is awesome. Like, she really has a lot of love for her sister. She is a druid, and she has control of her petrifying gaze. Yes, which means that she now has the power to not petrify someone, and her snakes are venomous, but she has the power to control it. So what this did was gives the power back to the Gorgon, to the Medusa. So she can be in this like Medusa Gorgon phase, but if she's threatened, she can, because she's a druid, beast shape into like a giant serpent. And so this is really cool. And a lot of people skipped this book. In my opinion, the more I talk about this book, the more I find that nobody else actually, it's just not as popular, okay? And it actually came with a companion. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I know this video is super chaotic this time. But it also came with like a full Deck of Many Things deck. and an explainer book. I actually did a full shorts series here on the channel where I would pull a card from the deck and kind of explain the intention. Not only that, but there is a magic item in D&D that is Uriel's shield, and it's on the back of the book here. How cool is that? So bringing in Medusa's face on Athena's shield, giving that power back, and it's right here in D&D. Right here. I got goosebumps. You guys, I'm such a nerd. But seriously, I couldn't not do this part, but I'm going to go back to what I recorded before to finish out the rest of this video because I'm not done. There's more important stuff. But yeah, look into this one. This one's really cool. Not sponsored, obviously. There is so much that you can take away from this. It is heavy, and I'm trying to make things as light as I can because this is a heavy story and I don't want to trigger people. You can't get away from me without a mom moment. So here's what I want you to hear. Medusa was blamed for what happened to her. She was punished for being attacked. And when she tried to survive, when she tried to exist in the world as she had been transformed, she was hunted down and killed for it. And I think most of us know what that feels like in some way. Hear me out. I know that's kind of reaching, but hear me out. Maybe not exactly, but close. Being held responsible for things that were not your fault, having your pain used against you, being told that the problem isn't what was done to you, it's how you're responding to it. Here's what happens when we're forced to carry all of that. When rage has nowhere to go and when pain has no safe outlet, it turns inward. It calcifies. It starts feeling less like something that happened to you and more like something that is a part of you. And that's maybe exactly what this story is wanting. Because a woman or a person who has turned their rage onto themselves is a person who stops being a threat. The world will tell you that if you've been hurt, you must have done something to deserve it. That your survival makes you dangerous. That speaking about what was done to you is somehow an act of aggression. And you need to know that that's definitely a lie. That weight that you carry, that exhaustion of being blamed for someone else's choices, that's what happens when the people around you won't take responsibility for their own actions. If you don't listen to anything else, listen to this right here. Medusa's gaze turned people to stone. She didn't choose that power. It was given to her as a punishment for something that she didn't do. And yet, somehow, thousands of years later, we're finally looking her in the face, straight on, and saying, I see you. So maybe the real power was always hers. Athena eventually put her face on her shield for protection. So maybe it's time that you did the same. So this week's comment word is, of course, Medusa. I adore every single one of you for leaving comments and using my little comment word because I think it's really sweet. Thank you for listening to me and doing that. This is our Granny Square, another one for our Frankenstein. And if you want to see more of what I do with recycled and upcycled yarn from thrifted sweaters and thrifted yarn, you should check out this link to my shop and sign up for my newsletter. I am dropping new merchandise later this month, I think this week, depending on when this video goes out. So do that and you will be in the know. And if you miss this one, then you'll get the next one because you'll be signed up for it, the newsletter. But what about a feminine monster that doesn't stay hidden but goes out to seek her prey? You should check out this video I did on Carmela right here. I'm Betty Rage, your favorite nerdy goth mom. Until next time, be good to each other, love each other, make good choices. And as always, free mom hugs from me to you. Bye. Oh, you're too short. You can sort of see you. Can you see? You see hi? Say hi. Hi. Can I get a whoop? 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 Woo. Say bye, Faye. Ooh.